Commence primary ignition.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Life at Lightspeed podcast. My name is Colin, and today we are here with a special guest and just busy super person of all time. What's your name, sir?
Ted, aka Teddy, Countdown to the Geeks. Go on, everybody.
Let's go. And we got a new trailer for Maul Shadow Lord. Right now, it is the one, the only March Maulness. It is busy right now. It is so busy right now.
I love it.
Leading up to Maul Shadow Lord. Before we begin, go and check out the Virtual Cantina Network. There's the QR code on the screen. It's gonna have some of our upcoming events. It's got a merch store in there. There's so many things to look forward to. SpaceCon is also coming up as well, including Rebel Scum Con. There's so many great cons. I will be at C2E2 here in the next couple of weeks. Right now there's South by West, I think, is still happening, Ted, right?
South by Southwest runs through Wednesday this week. Yes, a couple more days.
Gosh, geez, so it just keeps going. Dang. But yeah, so there is a lot to see for us for Countdown. So go and check us out. But let's talk about the new trailer that just dropped. It's dropping on April 6th. We are getting 2 episodes a week leading up to May 4th. May 4th is on a Monday this year, so mark your calendars. It's going to be absolutely insane. And there's so much to break down in this trailer. So let's just break it down part by part. Thank you again for joining us, and let's do this. Let's go over here. I'm going to turn on the volume. Turn on the subtitles. There we go. All right, let's do this.
Our target is a syndicate leader. He is associated with several criminal organizations. With a laser sword.
So this is a great opening to the trailer. Just because just seeing Maul in action again is just going to be so cool. Now, just to remind everyone, this is taking place 1 year after the events of Revenge of the Sith, after Order 66. And Maul has kind of used this time to self-reflect, learn from his mistakes, and from a recent interview, he actually stated that Maul now has some respect for his past foes, which means the Jedi. So that's why in this trailer you see him wanting to kind of become allies with these Jedi that are kind of in hiding from Order 66. And this actually makes sense of why he wanted to kind of lean towards Ezra in Star Wars Rebels. And to me at the time, I was like, he's really leaning towards of becoming allies with Ezra, with Ahsoka in a way. We know that he was just using them, but it was a really interesting tactic. And I think that this right here in this show is going to make sense why he was doing that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So we got Pikes. We got so much going on here.
I loved how the trailer really depicts him as the anti-hero that we all been kind of talking about
Yes. And there's this uh there's this Zabrak that has this chainrail blaster. His name is Icarus. He's already got a Funko Pop. Some toys are out already for the show. And we
Voiced by
know.
Steve Blum.
Mm-hmm. Steve Bloom voiced Zeb in Star Wars Rebels. So this is actually a busy year for Steve Bloom then.
Yep.
Yeah. And I love how they're playing the like a reminiscent theme of Duel of Fates. This is gonna be so cool. Yeah, so we're just watching the trailer right now, and then we'll go back to the beginning and just break it down play by play. So good.
April 6th.
Let's go. Okay, now let's go back all the way to the beginning. Now, if you want to get a full understanding of what's going on going into the show, there's actually a new comic that just came out for Maul Shadow Lord. I believe Ray from Countdown actually talked to some of the people behind that comic. I could be wrong. But yeah, so go and check that out. But that comic breaks down it's kind of like the prologue going into the show. So you should definitely check that out. So in a way, it seems like the quotations good guys in this are kind of like the antagonists of the show.
Yeah.
No. And Maul at this point, it looks like he still has his saber.
Laser sword, according to the trailer.
Oh, okay. So my question is, how did he get this lightsaber back? I need to see the hilt more, because in Rebels he's got a Sith Inquisitor saber. That he modified.
And his original was pretty much cut in half by Kenobi, right?
Yep. And then at the end of season 7, he lost it on Mandalore. But we know that he goes back to Mandalore at some point because he's gathered a bunch of different relics and everything from that. Because we know that he's got art of Satine, he's got the dark saber at that point in time in Rebels before Sabine takes it, and then of that whole journey happens. So I feel like there's going to be a lot happening in the show that they're not showing in the trailer, which is good because there's so many trailers nowadays that sometimes show you the whole plot of it, and you're just like, oh, okay. Because I felt like that with the Fantastic Four. I kind of knew the plot, like the entire plot kind of going in. So I'm glad that they're kind of like shadowing things, no pun intended. But we have a really cool scene here between master and apprentice. And there was a lot of speculation that the Twi'lek here was going to be a Legends character. That is not the case here. And I love how like they're debating on a team up with Maul. And the other thing too about this is that you really don't see the Jedi Master too much in the trailers, which makes me think maybe Maul might secretly take him out and then say that the Inquisitors did it, and then like that might turn her into Maul's ally of being like, and like Maul might trick her into joining. And then that line of where Maul says, let us have our revenge. So that could mean many things, but to me, I could see that being like Maul is saying that the Inquisitors killed her master and then she wants revenge for it, or just revenge against the Empire for taking out the Jedi Order in general.
I
What do you
like
think
that
that could
theory.
mean? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that theory. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah.
And manipulation is a key component to any sort of Sith plan. So I like that. That would check off a lot of boxes if that was the case. So yeah, I dig it. I
Yeah.
hope that's the story, because that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. I mean, Maul just did that so much in Star Wars Rebels with Ezra, and I could see that being the case here of her not really gathering like all of the information and just acting um on her feelings, which is against the Jedi code. Like you are not supposed to really act on anger and frustration. And in this shot here, I'd mark 135. Let's go back to 132 here. Um, her her fighting style in this is more offense than
Mm.
defense, I would say. So you can see the kind of aggressiveness and the anger in this lightsaber fight that she's having. And then you have this shot here of where Maul takes out the it's definitely not an ATST yet. But
I was gonna
of
ask you
this
about that.
walker.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, it's not yet. It's way too early in timeline. But I like this
it's an early
because this
version of it.
yes, but this scene in particular where Maul is taken out is kind of like a throwback to the Force Unleashed, which Sam Witwer did the stuff for
Cool.
Starkiller. And in
Right.
that, in the first game, you do fight like a very weaponized ATST. So, and it's similar to what we see in this trailer, what Maul's doing. And fun fact about that as well is that there actually was going to be a Darth Maul game that was very similar to Force Unleashed, but then that got scrapped leading up to when Lucasfilm was bought by Disney. But yeah, so I am excited for this. Let's hear you guys have your theories, comments about the new trailer. There's some past footage in here. We have the early TK the TK stormtroopers in this. It's the very early stage. It's like the Ralph McQuarrie design, which is really cool, which we saw in the Bad Batch. And again, this is actually happening around the same time of that first season of the Bad Batch, and probably going into the second season as well. So it's pretty cool stuff.
I also like that it's now going to become a pattern or like a standard that every major character gets like an iconic hallway fight scene. So here it is.
Yeah.
Vader's had one.
Yep.
Vader and old Ben Kenobi had their own hallway fight scene, and now Maul's getting one. He's getting an iconic hallway fight scene, and the rest it sort of goes in line with the rest of the trailer. It just looks action packed. It's a lot of fighting. It's a lot of lightsaber combat. A lot of just action sequences that we're getting, not only in this trailer, but that we've gotten like since the first trailer dropped. So I dig it.
Yeah.
I dig it that they're really leading into the action aspect of this, because it's Maul. He's chaos incarnate. So yeah, I dig it.
So in a way, Maul has already gotten a hallway scene at the end of season 7. He just didn't have his lightsaber, but he was taking on a bunch of clones, and then he was using the Force to like take panels off the walls. And at one point, he actually uses a panel and throws it at a clone's arm and chops the clone's arm off. And he takes off he takes off his comm piece on his arm, and he starts using that. And I just feel like at this point in the timeline, this is just going to be a wiser Maul, because Maul has had time to think, right? Like since Order 66, of what he really wants to do in the galaxy. And now he is acting on that. And my my theory, which I think, there's a lot of people speculating this, especially because in Rebels, is that the season finale is going to be Maul fighting Darth Vader, or maybe it's going to lead up to it, and then that's going to happen in season 2, if there ends up being a season 2. But I think Maul fighting Vader really makes sense, because if you go to Star Wars Rebels and you hear him talk about Vader, you just sense this fear, and Maul even says that he can't face Vader alone. And when you say something like that, that means you've got some experience fighting, that said person. So my guess is that we are going to get that fight, seeing Darth Vader in this animation style once again, because we saw him at the end of Clone Wars season 7. We saw him in Tales of the Empire for a split second, over at the Inquisitor Fortress. So I think that we're going to see Vader in this animation style fighting Darth Maul, because there was a comic that came out years ago. It's Legends, is not canon, but seeing that in this animation style is going to be so cool. And even the lightsaber fights in this trailer too, I just feel like they've definitely upgraded from what the lightsaber fights used to be in the Clone Wars. Even though in the last in season 7 of the Clone Wars, you actually did have that fight scene between Maul and Ahsoka. That was motion capture, so that was like them actually fighting, and that's why that fight looks so smooth. But this looks really good of the movement. What are you looking most forward to, coming out of the show?
I already mentioned sort of all the action sequences. I'm really excited to see, how this adds to the lore, not just of Maul, but like his entire species, Sith in general, and just what else we can learn about the Force, the Jedi Order, or even potentially the Empire. Will we be able to learn anything additional from the Empire or anyone that's fighting on behalf of them, and how it adds to the lore? Really excited about. It's not just what we're getting, but how it fits into the broader landscape of Star Wars and the universe, and if it fits really nicely, or how it kind of adds to what we already know. I am always looking forward to that, because I think every Star Wars project needs to sort of add something additional to the universe, and something valuable to the universe. It's good to have a standalone story, but like, how are you of any value to the broader Star Wars franchise, and how can you sort of add to it? And I think that's what I'm really excited about seeing.
Yeah, I'm with you. Every single time that we end up getting a new project, I'm always excited about what that's going to add to the overall story. Uh, and I've been rewatching everything in chronological order. So I'm talking about all of the TV shows, all the movies. So like, for example, if you're watching the Clone Wars, sometimes you have to jump from like season 2 to season 4 to season 1, just because when they made the show, it wasn't an actual like chronological order. So when the later seasons came out, then they had to add to like earlier stories. So if you want to fully experience late of the Clone Wars like in chronological order, you have to go back and forth. And I'm working on a project I'm going to be actually dropping on May 4th, because I haven't seen anyone do it yet, and it's going to be a lot of work. So in order for me to fully do it, I'm watching everything like in chronological order as I'm latch hooking and doing all these Wookiee commissions. But the lore side of things is always so cool. And then the other thing that I'm very, very curious if they'll end up touching on it at all is, is Crimson Dawn fully being a thing, of where we do see Dryden Boss, we like, Kira at this point probably that's later in the timeline, so we probably won't see Kira. But I'm predicting that we'll get some type of beginning of the whole thing of Crimson Dawn. We know he was in contact with Dryden Voss during the near the end of the Clone Wars, and I'm just curious of what the underworld is going to be like at this point in stage. Just because this is the early stages of the Empire. There's a lot of chaos happening. We know the crime syndicates at the end of the Clone Wars kind of went underground and hiding just because Maul was able to warn them in time. And we see the Pikes in this. So I'm curious of what part the Pikes will play, if it's a small part, if it's a big part. But yeah, there is a lot to look forward to. Yeah, so there you go. There you go. Yeah, I can't believe this is coming out in a couple of weeks because we're almost at the end of March.
We are exactly 3 weeks away from today.
Yeah.
Look at that.
What was your favorite part of the trailer?
I'll tell you what. I'm a big Wagner Mora fan. I've been watching the guy since he was on Narcos.
Okay.
And so I'm really interested to learn more about his character, and I'm hoping that it's someone who sticks around. That way, if there's ever like a live action need for that guy, that Mora can just transition over to him. So I think this is who he's playing. Brander
Yeah.
Lawson, who's some type of like law enforcement,
Yeah.
I believe. And so really looking forward to that character. Hopefully he's got a big role in this story, and hopefully we can see Mora in the Star Wars universe in some live action form. It's not always that they bring in voice actors into a live action form, but clearly it's been done a lot. And so, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm just excited to go in without, any expectations, just learn, what's happening, and just figure out how this fits into the greater Star Wars universe and go on from there.
I couldn't agree more. This show is going to be remarkable. And I love how it ties into May 4th. Because, that day, as I treat that day like Christmas. Like I wake up on that morning, early in the morning, anticipating for something, big to happen. So this is going to be really cool. And not only do we get Maul Shadow Lord in May, but we're also getting the Mandalorian Grogu in May as well, which is just after my, like, I think 2 days after, actually 1 day after my birthday. So it's just like, May has always been like a big has always been like a big month in my life. So I'm glad that they're keeping the tradition of putting more Star Wars stuff in May. We don't know if there's going to be some type of Tales in there, maybe because Maul Shadow Lord is coming out, and then you got Mandalorian and Grogu. Maybe they don't want to get that lost in the mix, so they might push that back into later in the year if they end up doing something with Tales of the Empire, Tales of the Jedi, Tales of the Underworld. So something new in Tales would be super cool. And then we know that the game Galactic Racer is coming out this year. We just don't know when. That game looks phenomenal. That would be an also really cool May release. I don't know if they'll do that. That'd be really cool if they did. Just to add to the craziness of what May is. So, but yeah, I am looking forward to it. And this trailer, is great, and I'm glad that they're I think the marketing of this has been decent. I hope they start, more now because it is 3 weeks away. So, hopefully we'll be getting more different interviews and behind the scenes stuff to really hype this up, because I really would love this to do well, so then we can get more stories like this. And I'm glad that they are, keeping the tradition of going forward with this type of animation, because after the Bad Batch, no one really knew what they were going to end up doing, if Tales was just going to be the continuing of all this animation style. So I'm glad that we are getting a full-length show that is of this animation style, because of it's a real huge part of what Star Wars is now, because there's a lot of fans that fell in love with Star Wars because of the Clone Wars. So I'm glad that they are keeping this going, and I really hope the show does well, so that then we can see more. Just the same with the Mandalorian and Grogu, because if that movie doesn't do well in the box office, there's a chance that we might not see the continuation of that story. Or I mean on screen perhaps, or we won't see a movie like that for a while. So hopefully the Mandalorian and Grogu also does well. So yeah, so here's hoping, but I am very, very excited for this show.
Yeah, you know what? It might do well enough just because of the popularity, but it just seems that we're not getting enough to figure out if there's anything below the surface with it. Are there multiple layers to it? Is the story deep enough to like move people or not? Like, are we going to be invested, or is everything just kind of surface
Yeah.
level with the Mandalorian and Grogu? But like, there's a lot to look forward to it. Sigourney Weaver joining the Star Wars universe, like,
Yeah.
super stoked about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I love that moment at the Oscars.
Absolutely, seeing the two of them together, it was like, oh, fantastic! This is great stuff.
Yeah.
And so, she can do no wrong, and really hoping for the best. I saw, I watched Hoppers, which is a Disney film, the other day, and they
Mhm.
showed the trailer before Hoppers, and I don't know if they added anything new to the trailer. It just seemed like there was a little bit more to it, and it was a little bit longer this time, so it felt
You are correct.
richer. There you
Yes.
go. Yeah, I was like, "Wait a minute, this seems a little bit
Yeah.
longer, and it
Yeah.
feels like they're really trying to sell it now." So I feel the trailer that I saw in the theater looks like they did a little bit of a correction, and they wanted to get people a little bit more interested or invested by kind of giving us a little bit more of the story, a little bit more action, and it's not just kind of what we got a few weeks ago.
Yeah. So in the they've been doing this more lately, which is kind of cool that they're doing it. I just wish that they would advertise it more, that like, hey, if you come to the cinema, you can see more footage in this trailer, because this isn't the first time, because there was that trailer that came out in the winter of the Mandalorian and Grogu in theaters, and the it had the Dejeric creatures fighting Mando in the arena, and that wasn't shown online at
Mm.
all. And I remember watching that, and you and I were talking about that, and I was like, man, I really wish that they would drop this to the public, but they want to get people to the theater seeing it. It's just like what they were doing with all those Avengers Doomsdays trailers, where they were dropping it there first, because um, I know people that would actually go to the theater specifically to watch that trailer, like of some new trailer for Doomsday, and then they would just get up and leave after they saw that trailer, and they wouldn't watch the movie all the way through. So I think they need to advertise that they're doing that, because Marvel did that in a way, because people were anticipating it for 4 weeks straight, and they did that, and they got extra money because of that. So I'm thinking that if they did that with Mandalorian and Grogu, letting people know that there was extra footage in the theater, I think that would excite a lot more people too. Um, but sometimes being surprised too is great. Of just of sitting there and not anticipating it. So I understand that side of the fandom as well. But
I don't think so. I think with this project specifically, because of the chatter that's been online, you're right. They need to kind of be more vocal about, new trailer in theaters now with 30 seconds of more footage, or like never before seen footage. Whatever you got to do to kind of change the narrative,
Leader.
because everyone online is sort of being lukewarm, lukewarm about the hype level with the Mandalorian and Grogu. So like, I they don't have to go overboard, but I think it's very simple to say like, go see Hoppers, also see the new trailer for Manuel and Grogu with more or with never before seen footage or something like that. Um, just something to help kind of swift and sway the energy into the right direction, because I want it to be successful. Like you mentioned, if it's successful, Filoni can continue his sort of Filoniverse with whatever he's doing, and we all want to see it kind of end on the high note and stuff like that, and just go from there.
yeah, yeah, I am with you. So yeah, here is hoping. Uh, I'm I am Very, very excited. And not only is all that stuff happening in May, but we're also getting over at the parks early April. They are doing the over at Disneyland. They are rebranding Galaxy's Edge into the very close to the original trilogy age. And they actually just changed stuff with Oga's Cantina. We're getting new missions for Smuggler's Run on opening weekend of The Mandalorian and Grogu as well, which is super, super exciting. So if you love Star Wars, you love Disney, you love flying the Millennium Falcon, and you love original trilogy planets, you should go to Disney World and Disneyland that opening weekend as well to go check that stuff out, because you will be able to fly the Falcon. And if you're the engineers, you'll be able to choose the planets that you're going to. I had the ultimate and amazing privilege of working over at Disney, over at Smuggler's Run and Rise of the Resistance, and just doing that stuff was so cool. And the fact they're adding new missions is just amazing. And then we're also getting new dialogue with Hondo and the Mandalorian and Grogu. So and in a way, it does tie into the Mandalorian and Grogu film. So if you want the full experience, go and check that out, so then you can fully appreciate the Mandalorian and Grogu. But yeah, I am beyond excited. It's gonna be so cool.
Can't wait. I gotta check it out.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of. We will be doing a giveaway soon. There will be a full announcement here soon. But it's gonna be pretty big, and it's gonna be celebrating Maul in a huge way. So stay tuned for that within the next couple of weeks.
Jeff in the chat says they're breaking up the land into multiple time frames as well, instead of just between 8 and 9. That's interesting.
Yes. So right now, basically near Rise of the Resistance, it will be that timeline of the sequels. But then if you go further into the land, like in the marketplace by the Falcon, what was the First Order courtyard will be turned into like the Imperial courtyard, because the TIE echelon is basically now has always been like a Imperial ship. They just kind of retconned it, and then the and then the First Order cargo shop is now the Imperial surplus shop, and it's run by two clones that were retired. One joined the rebellion, one joined the Empire. Then they retired from the Empire and rebellion, and they opened up the shop. So there's a lot of new story that's going to be there. They're changing some things with not just with Oga's Cantina, but Doc Ondar's as well. So throughout the land, over at Disneyland as of right now, all that stuff will be changed, which is super, super cool. Yeah. Looking forward to it. It's going to be fantastic. But yeah.
Big year for Star Wars.
Big year for Star Wars. Next year is going to even be bigger. And we'll be there. Countdown will be there. Yeah. When is SpaceCon? Talk about SpaceCon super quick.
SpaceCon, yes. SpaceCon is taking place in San Antonio once again. Everybody's used to it being in October. They've moved it up this year in order to sort of be a little bit more convenient for a lot of the actors and a lot of the sort of the Star Wars folks, because October is such a busy month for everybody. So San Antonio SpaceCon is taking place between June 12th through the 14th this year down in San Antonio, Texas. And of course, the big announcement was that we're getting together for the first time ever 3 Star Wars massive names. Ian McDermott, Hayden Christensen, and Jimmy Smits are going to be all a part of one big Star Wars panel that's taking place, I believe, on Saturday night. So that's June 13th.
That's super exciting.
Get more information for that panel by going to SpaceCon on social media. There are price ranges if you want to sort of be closer to the stage. So find out more about those tiers. And then also, they're doing a group photo op. So Jimmy Smits, Hayden, Ian, all doing a big photo op together. That's going on sale already at www.spaceconsa.com.
There you go. And then also, not only is Rebel Scum Con happening again this year, which they already have an incredible lineup, and they're not even finished with announcing guests, even though their guest lineup is absolutely incredible. We also got Boonta Eve happening in Texas again around the time of Rebel Scum Con. It's going to be bigger and crazier than last year. So go and check that out. Get excited. And then also you have the Scum and Villainy Rendezvous Cantina that's also going to be opening up next year as well. They have already made a bunch of money going towards that. And they're still on their way. If you are interested in being a member, if you are interested in being part of nerd history, go and donate. Go and check this out. Become a member, because it's going to be out of this galaxy. It's going to be absolutely incredible. And then for 143 days, since the beginning of the year leading up to the Mandalorian Grogu, I've been dropping a fact every single day. I barely sleep anymore. I barely slept before. But yeah, so I've been working hard on that, diving deep into that. And then we're also posting different interviews from the different actors and people involved in Star Wars that we've talked to, and a countdown City Geeks as well. You know, there are so many great people in the film industry that we talk to over there, especially Ted. He's been, like I said before in the beginning, this man is busy. This man doesn't sleep. I don't sleep that much, but this man does not sleep. So if you just love, yeah, I mean, if you love entertainment, if you love the film industry, go and check out Countdown City Geeks, because there are so many great different interviews from film, TV shows, video games, comics. Go and check it out. There's so many incredible things over there. But yeah, there you go. Yeah. So, I think we got one more comment. Let me see. No sleep till Bunta. That's right. That's right.
Till Bunta.
Yeah. So yeah, there you go. We'll be, when the actual show comes out, we'll be dropping those breakdown episodes. And then I'm going to be posting different reels for the show. Like every single Monday night. I don't think they've announced a time for when the actual show will be dropping. I remember with the Bad Batch, it would drop like at 3 a.m. in the morning. And then I remember I would wake up around that time, and then I would normally have to go to work because this was around the time I was working at Disney. It would drop around 3 a.m. and then I would wake up, and then I would go to work directly after that. So I would be sleeping. I would not be sleeping at all either for that. But yeah, so get ready for that. We'll be announcing a really, really cool giveaway soon. We have teamed up with some incredible people, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, so looking forward to it. Thank you so much for listening. You can, Ted, where can these lovely people find you at? Where can they find Countdown?
All social media channels at Countdown City Geeks. Right now, we're just posting our interviews and coverage from South by Southwest, and we got a lot more kind of to post and go through. Tons of footage, and just not enough time and not enough sleep, like we talked about earlier.
Fair enough. And again, go and check out this QR code for Virtual Cantina Network for all of our upcoming events, for different interviews. And go and follow me at Blue Harvest, no E in Harvest. Yeah, so go and check that out. Thank you so much for listening. Can't wait for more Star Wars this year. May the Force be with you forever and always.